Welcome, guys. Welcome. This is Austin, and you're watching the 144 Kids Shabbat recap on the Kids Action Bible Show. Let's get into it. All right, so we had to start with praise, and our praise song for today was "O Isreal" by Left Right Ministries. Left Right Ministries. I love this song. It was so good. And if you enjoyed it too, go ahead and check it out in our 144 Kids Shabbat praise playlist. It's so good. And if you want to contribute to the song, make sure you shoot us an email and let us know what type of praise song you would like to incorporate in the 144 Kids Shabbat study. Shout out to the Gendrick family for the praise request. They are from the great state of Indiana. That's not chewed up boot. That is actually the state of Indiana. Who knew? All right, so immediately we jumped in and recap what we talked about the previous week. So let's dive into it. So we started this new segment called The Desert. Why? Because the wilderness was taken. We are diving into what it means to exit out of Egypt and navigate the desert landscape following the Most High. And so we're following the people, the children of Israel, as they follow the Most High into the desert. And so we started with Exodus chapter 17. And so I'm just going to read these verses here because it's so good. It says, "So Moses cried to Yah, 'What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me.' And Yah said to Moses, 'Pass on before the people, taking with you some of the elders of Israel, taking in your hand the staff which you struck the Nile, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock at Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and the water shall come out of it, and people will drink.'" The people were complaining about thirst, and they were dying of thirst, and they were ready to stone Moses because nothing was happening quick enough. And so Moses cried out to the Most High, asking for help, and he responded. The verse continues and it says, "And Moses did so. In the sight of the elders of Israel, he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the arguing of the people of Israel, because they tested Yah by saying, 'Is Yah among us or not?'" Is he among us or not? This is how you can test the Most High. Not in a good way. He says not to test him. And actually, we're going to read a scripture that says it. But we learn that this is how Israel tested them. And he allows us to read this so we can learn by this example so we do not do the same thing. Check this out. This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 16. It says, "You shall not put Yah your Elohim to the test, as you tested him at Massah," or Massah Meribah, right? We just read that in Exodus chapter 17, verse 7. This is a direct quote. This is what he's referring to. Do not put Yah to the test. We don't want to test him. We want to love him. We want to obey him. We don't want to challenge him by questioning, is he there with us or not? We don't want to challenge him by questioning, is he there with us or not? So good. So we continue with Jethro, and this is what we talked about a little bit last week, and we did most of our study. We completed on here this week, talking about Jethro. So Jethro, along with Moses' wife, this is an overview of Exodus chapter 17, verse 2 through 7. I encourage you, read the verse at the bottom of the screen, so you can read the verse description reference at the bottom of the screen so that you can read scripture for yourself. But I'm just paraphrasing what all these scriptures are about. Jethro, along with Moses' wife Zipporah and their two sons, arrived in the wilderness where the Israelites are camped. Moses tells Jethro all the events that Yah had done for the Israelites, including their deliverance from Egypt. Jethro praises Yah and acknowledges his supremacy over all other gods. And so we talked about that. We talked about how they were camped in the wilderness, and Moses tells Jethro, and Jethro praises the Most High for how he has come through for Moses and the rest of his children. So next, this is where we dived in. This is what we dove into this past Shabbat. We're calling it Jethro Part 2. All right, so here's an overview of the rest of Exodus chapter 18. We started it a little bit last week, and this is the overview of Exodus chapter 18. It says, Jethro observes how Moses sits all day long to judge and resolve disputes among the people. From morning until evening, Jethro advises Moses to appoint capable and trustworthy leaders. Let's just stop right there. You see the purple right here? Morning until evening. Have you done anything morning till evening? Have you ever been on a long flight or a long bus ride or have to wait for somebody? It takes too long to sit down and to judge people from morning till evening. How many hours do you think it is to get from the morning to the evening? I'll tell you right now, it's no less than 8. A long day. And so we see here in the green, this is Jethro's advice. He advises Moses to appoint capable and trustworthy leaders. We're going to look at what scripture says about how do we know if we're a capable or trustworthy leader. He says, appoint capable and trustworthy leaders to share the burden of judging the people. While Moses focuses more on significant matters and consults Yah for guidance. For guidance. Put that twice for effect, not as a grammatical error. Let's finish off these verses. Jethro explains the qualities that leaders should possess and how they should handle various cases. Moses accepts Jethro's counsel and decides to implement a system of appointing leaders. This is awesome because it's going to help Moshe so much, but at the same time, it shows us what does it look like, what qualities do you need in Torah to be a leader over people, to help judge people's matters. And how do you judge people's matters, right? It's a great question. Let's see what scripture has to say. So this is a direct quote from scripture, Exodus chapter 18, verse 17 through 20. He says, this is Jethro talking to Moses. What you're doing is not good. You and the people with you will certainly wear yourself out, for the thing is too heavy for you. And he's talking about judging all the people's matters, everything that they're complaining about, all the problems that they're having. Putting it all on Moses' shoulders is too much. It's not efficient. Jethro says right here in the green, you are not able to do it alone. He wasn't knocking Moses. He was just saying, Moshe, it would be easier. It makes more sense if you get your brothers and sisters involved. He says, now obey my voice. I will give you advice, and Yah be with you. So let's see what he said. So he says, you shall represent the people before Yah and bring their cases to Yah. So he told Moses, keep doing what you're doing, but your job is to warn them about the statutes and the laws. That is all. Guys, let me tell you, that's our number one job with people that we love, that we're in community with, is to tell them, this is what scripture says. I want to hold you accountable to this. This is the statutes of the Most High, and these are the laws of the Most High. So good. And why do you do this? Because it says right here in the blue, and we will make them know the way in which they must walk and they must do. There's another person in scripture that goes by the name of the way. I think he also goes by the name of the truth and the life, or light, depending on how you read that. But he says the statutes and the laws help us identify the way. I wonder if those same statutes and laws help us identify the man that identifies as the way. Ooh, identify. Such a buzzword today. Guys, look at this verse. This is Yeshua. This is John, I think chapter 6. I should have put it on here. It says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Who are they talking about? They're talking about Yeshua. Yeshua said this. I am the way, the truth, and the life. All statutes and laws point to him. And he showed us how to walk out all of Yah's statutes and laws. All the Most High statutes and laws. So good. Let's keep reading. Exodus chapter 17. We're finishing up some of these verses. It says, moreover, look for able men from all the people who fear Yah, who are trustworthy, and who hate a bribe. Guys, this is a great description of what does it mean to be a leader in Israel. You fear Yah. Why is it important that you fear Yah? Because if you fear him, that's the beginning of wisdom. That's correct. Chokmah. To fear the Most High is the beginning of Chokmah. Chokmah is wisdom in the original language in Hebrew. And also, you want to be someone who's trustworthy and who hates a bribe. Who hates a bribe. So good. Look at that. Proverbs 1, chapter 7. Chapter 1, verse 7. My goodness. The fear of Yah is the beginning, only the beginning of wisdom. And if you fear him, he'll give you wisdom to lead others to his statutes and commands and help judge them and keep them on track. As we walk in halak, we work together. So good. So obviously, if you want to learn more about Moses striking the rock, you can find it here from this Bible Pathway Adventure book called Water from the Rock, Miracles of the Bible series. It's so good. You can find all of this at shop.biblepathwayadventures.com. And that wraps us up for our Shabbat recap. Thank you so much for diving into our Shabbat recap, learn a little bit more about Exodus chapter 18 and how Jethro helped provide counsel and guidance to Moshe as he started leading these people out of Egypt and into the wilderness. And we look forward to diving a little bit more into next week's topic, Mount Sinai.
Great Adon, as we wander in the wilderness, we lift our cry up to receive his rest. Who is our Elohim?